Good morning, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? I am fine. We're going to do pro football today. We did college yesterday. So we had the Denver Indy game. We had it under. What a game. Oh, my God. Now, somebody needs to explain to me, because I honestly, my brain doesn't work like this. So Denver's got the ball at the 5-yard line late in the game. They're down. They don't get a touchdown. 4th and 1. They don't, you kick the field goal, you get the tie. You've had 3 downs to get there. You didn't get there. So it's 4th and 1. You kick the field goal. Isn't a tie better than a loss? See, what gets me, this is where these coaches don't have a clue, and they're dealing with analytics, which says, oh, the odds on getting a 4th and 1 are X. And so they automatically assume, well, okay, we'll score on that. I mean, if we have 4th and 1, they're looking at it almost like it's 100% they're going to score. Right? I mean, that's what they're doing. It's like, oh, no, it's not like we're not going to score. We're for sure going to score. What the hell? So in my mind, you got to take the tie versus not getting it and losing. I mean, you played all day, you're down 12-9, you're at the 5-yard line, and you're not going to at least tie. You're going to take the loss. I mean, are you out of your mind? So now you've lost. Your team looks at you like you're an idiot because they'd rather get the tie than the loss, always. So really makes no sense to me why it's like going for it on 4th down or going for 2. Like, well, the algorithm or the analytics say to do it. Oh, who says that the analytics are correct? They're not correct. They need to relook at it. Good morning, Christopher. What a terrible game last night. Ready for better football this weekend. Well, I had the under, so from my standpoint, it worked out fine. I am noticing through like a few of my friends here they're not getting the full 6 points in the teaser. So like yesterday, instead of 43 going to 49, they only got 47. And I'm not seeing a line go down 2 points. So I'm seeing that these Bovados or whatever are screwing the people over. I don't have that issue, but it's not good. They shouldn't be having, if you're playing a 6-point teaser, play it. Then I got my friend Alex, and he's like, well, I got to play a 6.5-point teaser, or I got to play a 7, or if I play 10 teams, it's a 7-point teaser. Well, the odds are obviously worse. And do you really benefit from the extra point? I say no. Once in a blue moon, you'll benefit, but not normally. So I'm just curious what's going on with that. Anyway, the analytics are stupid. If you are going to run a 4th and 1 with Russell Wilson, I would have done that option play where he fakes the handoff and runs around the end. That seems to work every time for him. He does the read option. All I saw was an incomplete pass down the middle. What is that? I didn't even bother watching the highlights on YouTube. And I'm getting so sick of YouTube with the commercial. It starts with the commercial. Then a minute in, it goes to a commercial. You're like, and then every 4 or 5 minutes, there's a commercial. It's like, we want you to buy the premium for $12 a month. And we're going to have so much commercials that you'll just get frustrated and do it. And out of spite, I won't buy it because you're trying to force it down my throat. That's what a male investment is. Well, that's really Say's law is you supply what's demanded. So if I demand YouTube, you supply it. But that's not Say's law where I'm going to force you to buy it because I'm throwing on so many commercials that you'll buy it. Not that you want it, but because I'm forcing it to you. And that's really terrible business. Nathaniel Hackett is in over his head as a head coach. So is the Lions head coach. I think most of these if you notice, they're not really, what do? They keep hiring assistant, like Dan Campbell of the Lions. He's never coached before. He was a tight end coach. He played, but I don't even remember him playing. I mean, he was played on the Lions. I never heard of him. Not like Charlie Sanders or TJ Hawkinson I've heard of, but I don't know that he'd be a good coach just because he played. I think a lot of these coaches they don't know what they're doing. You would assume they're assistants. Okay, I can maybe stomach an offensive and defensive coordinator, but not from New England. But I don't know where you'd get it from. Parcells had, Belichick, and Parcells had the Saints head coach. Okay, those made sense, those two guys. But really, I think if it was me, I would go pick up the Kansas head coach because he's turning that team around. I'd take the Iowa State head coach or the Baylor head coach. I would take a head coach from college who's been an assistant in the NFL, who understands the NFL. Because sometimes, like the Carolina coach, was the head coach at Baylor, and he was at Temple, and he did well, but he's not doing well at Carolina. But a lot of the times, you're kind of handcuffed. In college, you can basically do. In college, you can basically recruit. Like Ohio State, like always has better talent than any pro team, or Alabama, for that matter. But in the pros, like Urban Meyer was stuck with Trevor Lawrence, so he knew he wasn't going to win, and that's why he just quit. That's why, Alabama coach. That's why he quit Atlanta, because he wanted Drew Brees. They didn't get it for him. He knew he wasn't going to win with the pig that they had there, Nick Saban. So that's why he quit. He said, I can go to Alabama and recruit good quarterbacks, and I can recruit better talent than I got on this pro team, because they fall in love with the quarterback. I mean, what the hell is Marcus Mariota doing starting? He's terrible. We all know he's terrible, but yet they keep him there because he's played. Like, well, are you kidding me? And then they get like Chicago with Fields. Well, they get Trubisky. They have him for 3 years. They finally figure out he doesn't work, and then they get Fields. Like, he's not going to work. And the Niners take Trey Lance. Like, he's not going to work. But they don't understand it. They want to we'll let him not work for 3 or 4 years, and then we'll do it. Isn't that how Doug Peterson came up, won a Super Bowl too? What was he, from college, or was he an offensive coordinator? But I mean, now like Jacksonville got Doug Peterson. Okay, he's won a Super Bowl. That's a great coach. I mean, look what he's doing. I think Jacksonville is an A team right now. So I like Peterson, but I think he was a coordinator. And excuse me. So I think he was a coordinator. And I can never tell if it's my glasses or my eyes that are like a little bit foggy. I'm hoping it's my glasses. Anyway, yeah, much better. So, but that's what you're looking at. I would take this Kansas guy as my coach. I mean, anybody that can turn around Kansas, unbelievable. All right, so let's go through the line right now. One second. All right, so let us go through the line. Yeah, I mean, but that's what you want. And they took a chance with him, and then he did good, and then he won the Super. Now, why is he not on Philadelphia anymore? I don't get it. He wins you a Super Bowl. I don't get why he's still not there. And then Jacksonville picks him up. Now he's won. He looks like now he's. They're trying to give Trevor Lawrence the credit. Trevor Lawrence still sucks. It's just a better offense for Trevor Lawrence. He's smart enough to realize that I'll give him these little short, they're just short little dink passes and runs. They're nothing major, but they move the ball, and their offense is scoring a lot more than it ever did. They used to be a Z team, so they'd score 15 points and give up 30. Now they're actually an 18. So, yes, I agree with you, Christopher. Exactly there. But he's won the Super Bowl, so you kind of question why Philly let him go. If he won you a Super Bowl, I'd be more apt to keep him for a while. But even Belichick's slipping now. He needs the quarterback, right? It's very apparent without Brady, he's just an average coach. And I really hate when they go, he's the greatest coach of all time. Well, I watched Vince Lombardi, who I'd have to say is probably the greatest coach of all time. And I watched Chuck Noll, and I watched Bill Parcells, and I watched Bill Walsh. I really don't think Don Shula was a great coach. I think it was stupid. He won the Super Bowl with Zonka and Kick and Greasy and Warfield. So what does he do? He's got balance, and he had a really good defense. And then that never came back. Then he gets Marino, and then it's all passing, which makes your defense weak because they don't rest. And there's no balance, and they can't score in the 10, and that was it. And they played the one against the Niners. They didn't have a defense. You look what happened when the Niners played, what was it, the 86 Giants? They didn't do anything. They got killed. They killed Montana. Jim Burt hit them and knocked them out. That's how you beat offensive teams with a great defense, but he never went back to it. So that's why I question Shula. You had the formula. You saw what the Packers did, which was all great defense, adequate quarterback, and balanced offense. And then you went away with it. With Marino, you couldn't put in a balanced offense, and you couldn't put in a good defense for the next 30, 40 years. I mean, you knew the formula and you went away from it. That's why I question him. But, Bill Walsh and Jimmy Johnson was the best. I think Jimmy Johnson was the best coach because he won at Miami and he won at Dallas. And you don't see a lot of good college coaches coming up. But, man, he could coach. I won so much money with that guy. He was unbelievable. All right. Let's look at the line. So we've got, now I'm on Vegas Insider. Giants Green Bay is 6.5 and 8. So if you want Green Bay, you can go down to 6.5. I guess if you can find the Giants, you can get 8. So again, this is a very confusing Vegas Insider because it's giving you this huge gap. So it's good. Like, I'll let you take either one. Over under, let's call it 41. So we got Green Bay. I got it at 7.41. I'll keep it there. If I play it, I'll play 7 because I want Green Bay. If I wanted the Giants, I'd play it at 8. And then you'd have to understand that what I tell my friends and customers that shop, you've got to shop around. There's many sites that give many different lines, and they question me, well, where'd you get this line or that line? Well, there's multiple lines. I shop for the best line. So that's what I do. All right. So Green Bay, 6.5, 7. First, I'll give the line, then we'll analyze it. Buffalo's 14. Now that's 14 and basically 45, 46, down from 47. So I'll go to 46. Excuse me. What was Green Bay? Yeah, 41. So 7.41, that's about the same. Buffalo 14.46 is about the same. San Diego 2.5, 47, let's call it. So that's down from 3 and down from 48. Chicago mini -7 and 44, we'll call it. We'll go 43.5. So it was 7 and it's 43.5. Detroit, New England. New England is 3 and 4.5. Wow, heavy betting on New England. They like my Zappy, I guess. I'll call it 3, and I'll call it 46, down from 47. New Orleans, 5.5, 46. 5.5, up from 45. Miami, 3 and 46. Miami is, where are you? 3, up from 44. See, I don't know, because Tagovailoa is not the quarterback, so now you're going to Bridgewater. It's not going to be fluid, like he'll just come in and do what Tagovailoa is doing. Tampa Bay, 9.5 and 46, up from 8.5. Now, I bet this game on Monday at 8.5. I told all my customers to get it in then, and this is why, because now it's 9.5, 10, which makes it a whole different bet. 8.5, we're under a field goal. That's all we need. 9.5, now we got to win by a touchdown against Atlanta. Now, Patterson's out for Atlanta, which helps. Tampa's got their backs against the wall after losing 2 in a row. They will not lose this game. Now, I like the spread going up. I assume it's a combination of Patterson and then all the receivers are playing for Tampa, Julio Jones and everybody else. So I think that this should be a big win for Tampa. Must win. And without Patterson, Ryan's not going to do it. Now, this is a very strong defense. Tennessee, let's call it 2 and 42.5, 43. Jacksonville, let's call it 7 and 43.5. All right. The Niners, 6.5, and we'll call it 39.5. There's actually a 40, and that's what we got it in at. So we'll leave it at 40. 6.5 and 40. Dallas is 5 and the Rams are 5.5 and 43. We'll go 5.5. And I had 44, so now it's down to 43. Philly is 5 and 49. Yeah, 48.5. That's fine. Baltimore, 3 and 48. Down from 4.5. Kansas City is 7 and 51, up from 50. And yesterday's ended at Denver 3, 3.5, 41.5, 42, and it didn't matter because they only got to 21. Yes, so I have the game under. Why did I play the game under? So this is the critical part of what you're doing here, right? It's picking the game, but why did you pick it? And then were you successful in picking it? So you've then back up your thought process. Why did I play under? Well, Indy and Denver are both under teams. They both have under defenses. They're both passing teams. Russell Wilson's getting used to it, so he's not doing much. Indy didn't have Taylor, so let's go into the flavor here. All right, so all right, so if I go into it, so if we look at Indy, they score 14, they give up 21. They throw for 280, they get 369. So they're somewhat of a passing team. Denver is a under team. They score 17 and give up 17. So they're both on the bottom offensively. So this is ranked by offense. I have an offensive one, a defensive one, and a variable. So from an offense standpoint, Indy's the worst at 14, and Denver's right there at 17. They both have fairly good defenses, and they both are passing. So that's your first clue of what's going on is they both have weak offenses. As opposed to Detroit with 35, KC 32, Baltimore. So if Detroit played Baltimore, this would be an over because they both score a lot and give up a lot. The A teams, like Jacksonville, scores 26 but gives up 17, or Buffalo 29-15, Philly 29-18. So this is how you uncover what the team is you're looking at the scores. Now, does this work? It works very well, but you always got to throw in a little tweaks and look at injuries. But this is kind of the key that I'm finding is very important, is especially the defense. So I never want to mess with the strong defense. If I have a strong offensive team, I always go to the defense. The defense wins. Lawrence Taylor beat Joe Montana. It's just what they did. I remember that playoff game when Roger Craig fumbled. It was a 10-10 game or 12-10. I mean, it was very low scoring, but you had Montana and Rice. They couldn't do anything against Lawrence Taylor. The Lawrence Taylor will always beat the Joe Montana. It's just the way, for whatever reason, the defense can beat the offense. I think that's what they're trying to do now with the offensive teams, is spread it out. I think that's kind of the point. Well, we'll put 4 receivers out and try to neutralize the Lawrence Taylors. That's what I think they're doing. And then it becomes more of a speed game, harder to cover the whole field. And I think that's the whole thought is we'll have 4 wide receivers, which will spread out the field, make it hard for them. So what does the defense do? They get faster secondary guys, faster linebackers, and they get pass rushers that can get to the quarterback. Now what I would do if I'm the head coach of any team is I now bring in the running back and say, oh, you got your little fast guys out there. I'm going to power you with the big, strong Barkleys or Larry Zonka types, or even a Barry or an Emmett, and good luck stopping them. And I'd have a fullback, knowing your personnel is fast because you can't switch your team all the time. And I'll just kill you. I'll just run it down your throat, and there's nothing you can do. And I'm going to get 8-9 yards of carry, and I'm going to run and run and run, rest my defense, and you can't stop me in the red zone. Right now, I can't score in the red zone because at the 5-yard line, I am limited to the end of the end zone, and you got 8 guys guarding the field, and I got 4 or 5, maybe 4. I got to keep somebody in the block. I got nowhere for them to go. Their speed is neutralized by the end of the end zone. I cannot pass it in for a touchdown. I can only run. Now I can run it down your throat, and there's nothing you can do. That would be the best way to the red zone. That's what I would do, not go to this 5 wide receivers, because I don't think it works. I think the better teams, look at the Niners. They use their running back, their wide receivers, their running back, and they're very successful, and they have a very strong defense. So just look at that. It's not, Tom Brady still works, but again, he only has he uses his tight end because it's a big guy against these little fast guys. That's why the tight end works. That's why Kelsey's always open, because he's bigger than the guys, and he just boxes them out like basketball. So that's where we've gone to. All right, so let's go through the games. Green Bay 7 over the Giants, 41. The game's in London. Who do we have? Well, according to the stats, we've got under team Giants. They don't score, and they have an under defense and an under team in Green Bay. Even with Aaron Rodgers, they put up 14 on Tampa, but held them to 12. They had a 24-7 with the Bears. Last week was I was shocked, a high-scoring game with them. I was ready to bet them under. And then I took Green Bay -3. I got a push. We should have won with the touchdown. To me, he caught the ball. He took 2 steps. He falls down and then he loses it. But at what point did I took two? I've caught the ball and I've taken 2 steps. So at what point is the play over? Why, if I fall down, why I'm falling down? I would tell my receivers, I would coach them never to fall down catching the ball unless you had to dive to catch it. Just catch it and you're still running. Just keep running and just take 5 steps and then just never fall down to the ground because it's going to be a problem. So therefore, just don't do that. But Green Bay should have won by 7, which would have won it. Christopher, receiving back for checkdowns have become so valuable too. Well, that really what Oklahoma / USC is doing, they get a fast quarterback in, and they have the receivers and these fast defense. All the fast guys run down the field 40 yards. Now it's the quarterback who is fast running around these little linemen who are coming into rush. So the linemen, push them out, and then the guy's got 30 yards of open field. That's what they're doing. That's what Alabama's starting to do. USC / Oklahoma's doing. A receiving back for checkdowns. Yes. Well, that's what Miami does, which, and that's what Jacksonville is doing now. It is good if a team has a lot of pressure on you. I would rather throw to the tight end, but I get your point, and you need a safety valve. So be it the tight end or the running back, you basically, like the tight end crossing the middle, he's going to gain 10 yards for you. But but here's what Georgia does so well in college. They watch the running back come out of the swing back that you're talking about, and they nail him. He doesn't get a yard. They attack him. So he comes up, and these guys are fast, and these guys are good tacklers. They're the best tackling secondary, Georgia. So when you do a little wide receiver screen or this little check down, they are right on top of you, and they put pressure on the quarterback. That's why their defense is so strong. They'll kill your quarterback, and they kill your running game, and they kill all these short little passes. So it's such a good defensive scheme, but you've got the players to do it. But I get what you're saying, but I don't know that I'd want 5 wide receiver set or a 4 wide receiver set. I think the most I'd want is 3 and my tight end and my running back, Franco Harris, if I need an immaculate reception, was really blocking on that play. And for some reason, he came out, and for some reason, the ball got batted all the way back to him. But he was in block. He didn't even go off for the pattern on the immaculate reception. But that's exactly, you need an outlet when the quarterback's under pressure. It makes sense. But that's what you want. But you need a good blocking running back who can run too, like Emmitt Smith, Barry. Well, Barry wasn't a great blocker, but Peyton and Emmett, those guys could really. Roger Craig, when he wasn't fumbling, could block too. But yeah, you want the tight end. I mean, you just take a look at the Dallas Cowboys, Michael Irvin and Alvin Harper and Jay Novacek and Emmett. That offense would work any era. You can't stop it because here comes Emmett at you. Oh, shit. No, here goes Michael Irvin, and then you got speed with Alvin Harper. You got the tight end. You got everything. Even the fullback, Moose Johnson, could catch balls out of the backfield to your thing. That's the offense I would have right now. I don't get the need for the change. It worked. Why are you changing your offense? Anyway, so Green Bay laying the 7. So it's Aaron Rodgers against Tyrod. I'm not even sure Tyrod Taylor's listed. I looked at the injuries. So you've got Jones listed as questionable, but apparently not playing. Tyrod Taylor apparently has some sort of concussion or head injury. I'm not sure he's playing. So who is my third quarterback on the Giants from preseason? It is... Well, it's Taylor Jones and a guy named Webb. Maybe it's Wayne Webb from bowling. I don't know. So I don't even know if Webb's still on the team. I thought he got cut. So they need a third quarterback because if If Jones is out, if Taylor gets hurt, they got to put somebody in, or they're running a wishbone or a wildcat. But I'm not sure Taylor's playing. So you got Aaron Rodgers. This is a game where I question Green Bay's offense being an under, especially lighting up New England for 24. So I think Green Bay is a better team than the Giants. This is where I kind of get away from my numbers. I think the Giants are an under team, but I don't think Green Bay is. That first week against Minnie, Green Bay didn't show up. Against Tampa, like I said, they should have had 21, and then they put up a 24 last week on New England. I feel very good. They're going to put in the 20s. And the only thing that bothers me is this game is them flying to England. And I still don't get why are they flying to England still. They're having a big recession in England. People aren't. Unless the royal family's going to be there, I don't know who has money to go to the game. They're trying to pay their heating bill and their food. So really, I'm sure they're just handing tickets out. Go enjoy. I think Green Bay is the better team. I think it's Aaron Rodgers. So I would bet Aaron Rodgers here, lay the 1 before I'd go under, but I would think it's still going to be an under game. However, I thought the New England game would be an under. And what was that final? Did it go under last week? Green Bay 27-20 was a 51. The over-under was 40, so it didn't go under. So Green Bay did score 27, and Zappe lit them up for 24. So, they're not really the under team. This is where the first couple of weeks of not having the preseason and the bye that they're slow starting, but now they're starting to cook. So I think Green Bay is not an under team. I think they're a B team, and I think against an under team, I like Green Bay. So that's where the analytical part comes in that I do so well, is adjusting to what I'm seeing in the numbers. That's why I don't just take the number. It's not just a technical trend. They're an under team, so therefore I'm going to play them under. However, if I deem they're an under team, like a Denver and an Indy, I deem them under. Now, maybe Russell Wilson gets it going and they become a B team, but not now. So, yes, that made sense. That was an under game. We played it under. But in this case, it's got to be Green Bay. And then, New York, they don't have a quarterback. Green Bay's got a good defense. So look for that. I think it's like a 20-10 game. I don't think the Giants score a lot. I think Green Bay can handle them. I don't think the Giants can really stop Rodgers. I don't see that happening. So here's where you're betting on Aaron Rodgers. That's where the star, you bet the star. New England minus 346 against the Lions. The Lions are an over team. They score 35 points. They give up 35 points. What kind of NFL team is it? What is this? This sounds like Kansas. I don't even think Kansas gives up 35 points. So this is a pure over team, but I actually think it is an over. I think this rating, from what I'm seeing, is justice. They are scoring a lot. They score mostly at the end when they're down 17 against Philly last week. When the game's over, then the other team's kind of giving them yards. That's when they score. During the game, when they can't get anything, but at the end they score. So they are an over team. They do have a terrible defense. They are balanced, but Swift is out and St. Brown is out. So the other running back did okay. Here comes New England. Now, what are they? I got them as a W team, which means they score less than they give up. They are an over defense. They just give up like last week. They gave up 27 to Green Bay. That's about what they are, 24-27, or maybe 22-27. That's New England. So you can't ignore it. I think you go and say, okay, Zappe, all right. Now, I love him. He's a great quarterback at Western Kentucky. This is the NFL. He looked good against Green Bay. I'm sure they'll privy the play calling to his strengths. And you saw his strengths, against Green Bay. Hit the guy wide open for the touchdown in the fourth quarter. So from that standpoint, so you notice I'm drinking hot tea. I'm not coughing as much. The cold pop makes you cough more. So how much do we trust Zappy? How much can we trust Detroit? I can't trust a team with an over defense, which means I can't trust either team here to win. I can't take Detroit in 9 because their defense sucks. I can't really take New England because as much as I like Zappy and how good he was at Western Kentucky and how good he looked last week against Green Bay, I don't know. I do think he's very good. I do think he's the best quarterback on New England, and I said that before Jones got hurt. I would have played Zappy, but he's got to get familiar. Sort of like Brady his first year. They didn't play him much. Then the guy got injured. I think that was his second year. I don't think the first year he played at all. So Zappy's got to get used to it, but he's very good, and he comes from Western Kentucky where they throw the ball a lot, so I'm sure he's read defenses. So in this case, I can't really take a team. I can't trust Detroit in 9, but I would lean towards that. This game is clearly an over game. You got 2 over defenses. By that, New England gives up in the mid to upper 20s, and Detroit gives up 35. So Zappy's going to have a good day and look really good against the Lions. The Lions will do their scoring. Kind of a revenge game for Patricia, who, is like, you fired me. Now I'll show you. As an offensive coordinator, it makes no sense. He was a defensive coordinator. Okay, are you a defense or an offense? The offense sucked when you were on coaching Detroit. So I think the only way to play games over 40, I think, is fine. I think that gets there very easily. Let's look at a score. I can easily see 31-27, which is a 58 without a problem. I mean, New England's going to put up in the mid-20s with Zappy at least. I mean, that's what he did against Green Bay. Green Bay is a much better defense than Detroit, and then Detroit will score their garbage touchdowns. New England is not the defense they used to be. Belichick, what's he going to design here? It's a balanced offense. Yeah, you don't have the running back from Georgia for Detroit, but you have enough offense and Goff, and I think that Detroit can score in the 20s. That puts you in the mid to upper 40s. But again, we live in teaser world. A 46 is a 40. All we need is 21-20 to get the over, and that's going to be no problem. I see this as an easy over 40 all day. So you got Green Bay -1. You got Detroit, New England, go over 40. That's pretty simple. All right, Buffalo, Pitt, Buffalo Lane 14, also a 46. Pitt's an under team. They don't score, and they have a good defense. Now, I'm still showing kind of an over defense, so they must be in the high 20s defensively, but enough to be an under team. I show them with a very weak offense. They don't get 300 yards a game. Buffalo's an A team, so they score a lot, and they have a good defense. So Buffalo's a very good team. Under defense, so what do you do with it? They gave up the 20 points to Lamar, and then he went fishing or something after halftime, and they shut him down. I would have loved it had they lost. Then see, this is why I don't understand Baltimore. Kick the field goal, make Buffalo score. There's so many things that you can get an interception, a turnover, 4th down, and they don't, and that's it, and you win. But if you never kick the field goal, you never win, and you don't leave the ball at the 2-yard line. That's not a strategy. Maybe in a Michigan-Ohio State 1972 game, it's a strategy. Not in the NFL now. You don't say, well, we'll go for it. If we don't get it, we leave them at the 2. Well, that's no. You're tied. You need to score. You need to get the lead. The lead's critical in these games. So I can't lay 14 with Buffalo. I don't know which Buffalo team shows up here. Pitt's got a good defense, no offense. Now they're going to go to Pickett, I guess. Pickett's not right. Pickett is not Zappy. Zappy's 10 times better than Pickett. Pickett played for Pitt, had a pretty good senior year, sucked the first 3. Probably overvalued at pick. I would have picked Zappy ahead of Pickett if I was drafting. But I look at I can't lay 14. I can't lay 8. I can't go over with Pittsburgh, who won't score for me. If we look at the score, it's probably maybe 21-10 Buffalo. I just, Buffalo doesn't really impress me. Too much Josh Allen running. You got running backs, throw the ball. I don't want you running because you're going to get hurt. You're not a running back. What are you doing? Williams Nardozzi. Hi, Williams Nardozzi. You're new. Very thorough, nice. Thank you very much. Green Bay and Tampa Bay, 2-teamer. Yeah, if you can get Tampa under 3. I bet Tampa on Tuesday at 8.5. I told all my customers, bet it now. Don't wait for it. I'll tell you, if you can't, it looks like it's 9.5 now, maybe 10. So you're going to be 3.5. Now, you've got Patterson out for Atlanta, and Tampa owns Atlanta and off of 2 losses. It should be a good bet. That would be my point. So I don't know if you'll sweat. I think they're going to win by like 20. So yeah, it's probably a good bet. But yeah, Green Bay. The only thing is traveling to London with Green Bay. It's just it gets them out of schedule. I don't know when they go. I think they probably go Tuesday or Wednesday, and then take in the sights and get the jet lag over it. But that would be my point. That would be my only issue with Green Bay. I actually played Tampa Bay with another team. Yeah, that's smart. I played a lot of my plays early this week. A lot of college over-unders. College over-unders seem to move 5-6 points. And I saw the line I wanted, and I jumped on it. And that's what you got to do in college because it moves. And I don't think Vegas moves it based on the bet. I think it's a 51 and they don't like it and they make it a 57. I don't think there's millions of dollars bet making it go from 51 to 57. I bet it early too. I gave 2 with Green Bay. That's okay as long as it's under a field goal. Christopher, I love the under in Miami, the Jets. Sorry if it was already discussed. No, we haven't discussed it yet. Just drove through an area with poor cell service. Yeah. Give 2 with Tampa. Yeah. No. Obviously, we're trying to keep things under 3, and you can see the Green Bay game for a perfect example. They should have that was a touchdown. They should have won by 7. What do? They kick the field goal at the end to win by 3 because in the pros, all they care about is winning. Oh, I kicked it out. Except for Baltimore, they don't care about winning. They prefer to lose by not kicking field goals. And apparently Denver does the same thing. We don't want to get a tie. We'd rather lose than tie. So you got some really weird coaches in the NFL right now. But yeah, theoretically, you want to get it under 3. Christopher, I'll get to Miami and the Jets soon, and I'll give you some better unders than that. So I think Buffalo wins, but I hate laying 8 in the NFL because let's say they're up 12 near the end, and then Pickett throws a touchdown pass and they're up 6. Buffalo's not going to try. They're going to take 3 knees and end the game. So you can get backdoored so easily in the NFL, unlike college where, like a team like Georgia, you're not backdooring them. You're not scoring on them. Took Minnesota -1 and Tampa Bay -2. Okay. Do you want me to critique your picks or what do you want me to do, Williams? I'll go through the games, but yeah, I like Tampa -2. Yeah. I'm about to get to them. So Pitt, you can get backdoored. Over under, I don't know how you can play it because Pitt doesn't score. We got to see what Pickett does. Maybe he's going to pick the offense up. But right now they have no offense. Their defense is okay, but without T.J. Watt. So Buffalo should win, but it's a number I can't play. There's other games I'd play. Jacksonville, 743.5 to Houston. Now here's a trend for you. Houston play against as a road dog 13-2. What does that mean? When they're the road dog, you play against them. They don't do well as a road dog. So 13-2 against, which gives you some Jacksonville. Let's see. Well, we had yesterday, Indy was 13-2 as a road dog, and they covered. Those trends work a lot. Very good ideas. Not 100% just because I see the trend, I play it. But yeah, Jacksonville is an A team this year. Okay, they have switched based on your new coach Peterson. So Jacksonville much stronger offensively and they have a good defense. That number one pick from Georgia and a couple other guys make them a very strong defense. They shut out, Indy 24-0. And then they killed San Diego. So last week against Philly shows, how strong, but they were up 14-0, then they were down, and then they lose 29-21. They cover as a dog, so they were good. They gave up 29, which I thought was a little surprised, but that's okay. So Jacksonville -7, 43.5. So you got Houston as a W team. They don't score a lot, and they have a weak defense. Going into an A team, Jacksonville, who scores a lot and has a good defense. So it's hard to fuck with the over-under here because you've got the weak offense in weak defense in Houston. Are they going to, and a weak offense, and you got a good defense in Jacksonville. So you don't know how much Houston's going to score. The play here is Jacksonville -1 because Jacksonville, being the A team, they look so much better this year. I give it to the coach. Urban Meyer, he had Trevor Lawrence. He didn't, he had better quarterbacks at Ohio State. Why he didn't draft Fields and run the Ohio State offense, I'll never know. But he's kind of stuck with Lawrence. He knew he wouldn't be any good, so that's probably why he just quit. Peterson comes in and is dumbing down the offense for Lawrence. But don't let anybody tell you he's any good. He's not. But they're running the ball more and the safe little passes and their defense. They're playing to their defense. They got a pick 6 on Philly. So I like Jacksonville laying 1 here. I like the under also, but I think I like Jacksonville -1 more than I like the under. Atlanta, Tampa, well, we started to talk about that. Tampa Bay, now me and Williams have betted at 8.5, knowing this was going to 10. I knew it was going to 10. I got the bets in. All the customers laid the 2.5, knowing it's going to 3.5, 4. So Tampa Bay back against the wall. My regular friends know what it is. Williams, you might not know what it is. And it is basically they must win. They've lost 2 games in a row. Tom Brady will not lose 3 games in a row. He's got Julio Jones back. He's got Evans back. He's got Godwin back. They got Fournette. Very strong defense against Atlanta without Patterson. This game will be ugly soon. I'm going to say 34-0, maybe 34-7. Mariota, what's Mariota going to do? They're going to spy him and take him away with his little runs because he can't pass. And when you get down 21-0, what's Mariota going to run for 10 yards? So really, I don't see why Mariota's the quarterback. I don't see why he's in the league. He's not any good. Atlanta with an over defense and an over offense. So they're an over team. They score, but a lot of it's been Patterson. So you take Patterson's out with a knee injury. It's not like he maybe will play. He's out. Tampa Bay, big here, must win. Lost to Green Bay and KC. They get a weak opponent without their best player and a weak defense, most importantly. Took Baltimore with 4 and KC with 1. Okay. I agree 100%. Brady hasn't lost 3 in a row in 20 years. I bet he's never lost 3 in a row. You can call me Bill. Okay. Williams, I'll get to all the games, so don't worry. Tampa Bay, yeah. So Tampa's the play here. Backs against the wall. Brady's not going to lose 3-0. They're at home against a weak opponent with their best player out. It's the perfect scenario. This happened to me when Wayne Gretzky was on Edmonton. They had lost 5 games in a row on the East Coast. They were coming back. They had a week off. I go to Vegas. I say, please, God, let them play, Winnipeg or some. I think Vancouver was terrible at the time. I said, please let, God, I hope they play Vancouver. And I get to Caesars, and who do they play? They're in the desert golfing to get, we've lost 5 in a row, the regroup. They get Vancouver. They beat them 5-0. It was beautiful. It's the same thing. Gretzky, it was the Gretzky, Messier, the whole Edmonton. They're going to win Stanley Cups. And they had lost 5 in a row. It was unbelievable, but this is what we got with Tampa. They lost 2 in a row. They are not losing 3. They get Atlanta at home without their best player. That's exactly what you're looking for. And they are a weak defensive team. What do we got? Thank you. Williams, no problem. I just hope you learn and enjoy. This is a class, and I'm the professor. Seattle 5.5, 46 again. New Orleans 5.5, 46 against New Orleans. Andy Dalton, the quarterback. Seattle 24-3 as a road dog. A lot of Russell Wilson in this, but it's still Coach Pete, and they did. They won as the road dog against the Lions and put up 100 points. So here you get New Orleans. You get an over team in Seattle. They score a lot and they give up a lot, as we saw. New Orleans is not a high-scoring team, but they have a weak defense. And again, they've got Andy Dalton, who I like better than Winston. You just question the coaching here. Like, why aren't you playing the best player? I think this game, I like Seattle in the 11.5 as a road dog, 24-3. I also like the game over because both teams are over teams. 46 goes over 40. Dalton will get you 20. It looks like Jones will get you 40. No defense, so this should just be run up and down the field. So do you take the 24-3, Seattle in 11.5, or do you take over 40? It's whatever your mood is. I took the 11.5, figuring Seattle in 11.5 as a road dog. Now, this is where I get into a weak favorite. New Orleans is a weak favorite. They don't have a defense. Anytime there's kind of a weak offense and no defense, that to me is a weak favorite. And I like betting against them with over teams. So that's what we have here. This is like the Kansas-Iowa State game that I gave you last week, where Iowa State doesn't score a lot. Kansas does. So you had a weak offense as the favorite in Kansas. Kansas wins 14-11. And that's kind of what you have here. You got New Orleans, who doesn't really score that much against an explosive Seattle team. And they're going to score. There's no way New Orleans wins this game by 20. I mean, that's never going to happen. So that leaves you with New Orleans maybe winning, 28-27, but I got 11.5. There's no way that loses. By the way, I'm 65 myself. I understand where you're coming from. Always like to learn new things. Watch many games through the years. I have watched every Super Bowl. Yeah, me too, Williams. It's just I don't really like some of the changes that have gone on. I don't get it. Well, time just keeps going, but all you can do is enjoy the ride and try to learn. So absolutely, sir. All right, San Diego, 2.5, 47 against Cleveland. We've got 2 more over teams. We have San Diego. Play against San Diego as a road favorite is 10-2. As far as I know Bosa's out, and I know Keenan Williams' hamstring probably out. Cleveland, I guess Chubb's playing. I guess they're fairly healthy. They are an over team. So they score a lot, give up a lot. Both teams are. Now, do you want Cleveland at 8.5, or do you want to go over 41? I think this is an over game. I think Brissett's okay. I think Chubb keeps it good balanced. San Diego with Herbert, even with the ribs, he seems like he's playing okay. They played a high-scoring game last week with Houston, 34-20. So Houston puts up 24 on them. So I look for the same type of game. That over-under was 45. They killed it, and they'll kill it here. So this is another over game. 47 down to 41. That'll be early third quarter would be my guess with that one. Chicago mini -7, 43.5. The Bears under team, no offense, decent defense. Mini, who the hell knows what mini is? Right now they're an under team. They don't have a good offense with Kirk Cousins and an under defense. Although sometimes it shows up, sometimes it didn't. Minnesota last week beats New Orleans 28-25. Now, here's the catch. They were in London last week, so they're all screwed up. You had to travel to London. Then you play your game Sunday, and then you travel back to Minnesota. Now, coming back from Europe, and I've done this several times, it's coming back's one day. Going's 2 days. Coming back, you leave Sunday morning, you're back, and I'm back in Detroit Sunday evening. So it's all one day. Then you sleep for 3 or 4 days. So that's what you have for mini. You got to be careful with the travel to London is a little bit different than going to New York or the West Coast. No big trend on the game. The Bears with a weak offense. So weak offense means less than 300 yards. The weak offenses are Houston, which we mentioned, Chicago, Tennessee, Carolina. So these teams don't even generate 300 yards offense. So don't play the game over. You either play it under or you bet against them if you have a good offensive team. So that's what you have here. Minnesota, Kirk Cousins, is he going to throw to Jefferson or is he going to throw to Thielen, or they're going to give Cook the ball? Now, in the trend, Minnesota's 4-1 the last 5. So they do play well. They played better in Minnesota than in Chicago. Do I want to go under 49 because I got Fields who just isn't going to score? This is what you have with a weak team like Chicago. They're not going to get you points. They might play good defensively, but they're not going to score. They're going to get 10 points. Mini will be in the 20s, so it'll be a 30-point game. Do you take mini -1 or do you take under 49? I like the under 49. I don't really trust Cousins. He'll find 3 interceptions somewhere. I just hope they're on their own goal. They're on the Chicago goal line and not their own goal line. But I would play the game under. Chicago, they did win last week, although it was against they lost to the Giants. They won the week before. So they're not, it was a 20-12 game with the Giants. I had that game under. So this game, who's Minnesota? I have no idea. And Kirk Cousins, he wasn't good at Michigan State. I don't know. He's stupid. He doesn't make good decisions, too many interceptions, too many safe passes. He's not really good, but probably I would go under in the game before I trust Mini to win. It's hard to play teams to win in this league. There's just not any really good ones. As we witnessed Kansas City losing at Indy, and then they blow out Tampa, like something's going on there. But you can't even trust Kansas City to go to Indy and win. I mean, the spread was even. Tennessee, Washington. Tennessee -2, 43. Both teams are W teams. A W is they score 20 and they give up 30. So they're not a really good team. They're kind of weak. They don't score a lot for you, but they give up a lot. So we got W versus W here. Over under of 43. So you have a weak offense in Tennessee, who I think is being skewed by the Buffalo game. They've been better the last 2 weeks, beating Oakland. They got in the 20s. Last week, they played Tennessee. They beat Indy 24-17. See, I loved it last week. They were the road dog. Here, I'm not crazy about them being a road favorite. I would not take Tennessee as a road favorite. I don't have a trend on that, but I think the only way to play the game is take the game over 43-37. Both defenses are weak. No, we don't trust Wentz. I can't trust Tannehill, but I think it'll be like last week, 24-17 with Indy, 41. This is a 37, probably gets over 37. I was hoping Washington would be favored. Then I would be excited to take Tennessee, but this will be a close game. This will be 21-20 or something. This will be a field goal at the end to win it, but I think it'll get over 37. Benila. Hi, Benila. You like the Vikings to win? Not really. I think that I like the game under, but I think there's better games. How about Cleveland with the points in the teaser? Well, let me get to that. Okay. Or did I already get to Cleveland? No, we already did Cleveland. San Diego, yeah, they're play against as a road favorite. I like the over in the game. I think that's the best play, not Cleveland. I try to dissect the games into four, over, under, team, or team. And when I analyze, I'm playing the best probability of the four. And I might take unders or overs, and I might take team. Tampa I like because it's revenge. But yesterday I took the under in the Denver Indy game because that was the best. You had two good under teams, so it made sense the game was under. I didn't try to force Denver +3, which should have won had they kicked the field goal and tied. But it's too hard to try to pick a winner in the NFL now. The teams are so bad. There's a few you can pick, but basically it's better to look and, there's 200 teams and they are under, let's go under with it, or let's go over with it. Like the Lions, New England, I'd rather go over than try to pick a winner. Unless Detroit was the favorite, then I would take New England. Let's see. So do I like the Vikings to win? No, they'll probably win, but I don't love Cousins, and I'd rather go probably under. But I'll tell you, I have about 10 games better than the Vikings. Denver with 4. You got lucky, Denver with 4. That's all I can say. Team that scores 9 points, under 50. Under 50 is good. All right. So let's see. So Tennessee, Washington, I think it's an over. All right. Miami 3 over the Jets. We know Tagliabue is out, so it's Bridgewater's game. He's a little shaken up, but I think he's playing. He has his opportunity. Miami is an even team. What's an even team? Let's score mid-20s. They give up mid-20s. So they're not a W. They're not like they score 20, give up 30. They score 24, give up 24. So they're really – I just call them even because they're kind of stronger than an under, weaker than an over, both ways. So I know this is a 24-point game. The Jets are a W. They don't score a lot. Both teams have weak defenses, as you saw. Baltimore blow out Miami, Buffalo. See, this is where Buffalo they put up they win 20-19 or something on a field goal at the end. What did Miami do last week? So Miami loses to Cincinnati 27-15. Tagliabue shouldn't have played with the concussion. I think he hurt his neck on a whiplash. When the guy tackled him, he kind of pulls him down, and you can see the neck snap. That's what it is. It's not a concussion. He hurt his neck, and it's like a car accident. He's out for a month at least. A lot of parity. No, it's just a lot of terrible teams. It's not parity. It's, it's terrible. I don't like the rules at all, but it's, I just look at it. It's a very weak league. So that's why I'm very scared to take favorites. I can trust Tom Brady. I can trust Rodgers and Mahomes at times, but most of these games, I can't trust the team to win. So I'm either looking for a live dog or an over-under. So Miami, New England. Both teams are over. The Jets starting to score. What did they? They actually put some points on the board last week. They beat Pitt 24-20. They played a 44 with a good defensive team. I say it's the same thing. I say they get into the 20s with Wilson looks good. Bridgewater. Now, is he going to be able to use Hill and Waddle the way Tagovailoa does? Probably better. Bridgewater's a better quarterback. So I think this game is an over, or actually take the Jets in 9. Now, the Jets showed me something against Pitt. They came back to win with Wilson. They're at home. Miami doesn't have a good defense. I think this is going to be a pretty explosive game with not a lot of defense. This is probably in the 50s, and you can go down and go over 40. So I think that's the play in this game. You've got to be careful picking teams because it's who do I trust? And I certainly don't trust Miami with Bridgewater, and I certainly can't trust the Jets with Bridgewater. How do I trust the Jets with Bridgewater? It's very difficult to trust it, but I can I can say there's going to score points because the defenses are weak. So that's really the key because the teams are kind of bad. So I think you go over with that one. The Niners, Carolina. Niners 6.5. Over under of 40. Frisco is a very balanced team. Love the wide receiver running back. Carolina's got a weak offense. Both teams are under teams. Both teams have strong defenses. Now the Niners just killed the Rams 24-9. Now they are traveling off the Monday night, which used to be a big deal. I'm not sure it's the same thing. Carolina really can't score. They really have a terrible offense. Mayfield's learning. They don't have receivers. McCaffrey's always hurt. He was one of those guys that set out the bowl game because he was scared to get hurt. Well, if you read into it, it's like, this guy gets hurt a lot, and he's going to get hurt in the bowl game. I don't think he should have played college because he probably is going to get hurt. He probably shouldn't play in the NFL because he'll probably get hurt. So he should probably save himself and go play golf or something. I think the Niners even. There's no trend on it. I do like them even, and I do like the under 46 because under team Niners. So kind of a weak offense with Garoppolo with a very strong defense. Also Carolina. So you've got under teams, under defenses, strong defenses, and it's 40. You go under 46. The only way I wouldn't play it is if the under was like 32, and I had to go under 38. But 40 to go under 46 or 45, if you get a 39 or whatever, go under. And don't worry about the point. I get a lot of questions like I'll see the 40 and I'll put under 46. And then somebody says, well, I'm trying to bet it, but it's 45. Bet it. Unless it's drastically different. I'm not, as psychic as I am, I'm saying under 46, but I'm meaning it's going to be in the 30s. So if you get a 45, I'm not playing it because it's 40 to go to 46, and that's the number. It's a general, this is going to be a lot like the Michigan-Iowa game, right? That was our lock under. It was basically a 41. The over-under was 42. So we had under 48 or 48 and a half. Now, if it was 47, it's still an under. It's still a 40-point game. It really wasn't even that. It was 20-7 with a minute left. So let's say it's a 27. I don't care if it's 41 or 40 or 39, if I'm under 45, because I'm thinking the game's in the 30s. So when I do a lock and when I do these picks, I am assuming that this final score is going to be Frisco 20, Carolina nothing. So I'm taking under anything that's halfway decent. So that's the score I'm looking. So if you got a 39 and it's 45, don't worry about it. This game ain't going to get close to it. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm looking for. My college show was yesterday, Williams. If you go on my channel, you'll see a bunch of shows, and I do college Thursday and I do pros today. So I go through college just like I go through pros. William, yeah, you can't think of that, Brady. I like your plan. Thank you. Picking sides, very, very, yeah, excuse me. I've been doing this since 1977, Williams. Actually, since 1970, but I've been doing teasers since 77. I've seen it all, and I know what to look for. That's what separates me, and that's why I'm successful. So college was yesterday. Just go on my teaser. You're on my site, so just click onto my videos and go to yesterday's college one. Well, your wife's pretty smart. You always I always bet Montana and Lawrence Taylor, and I always made a lot of money. I bet the Steelers, and I bet Jimmy Johnson. You're looking for the stars to bet on. That's why they're stars. That's why teams don't win. They don't have stars. Not to get off the subject of football, but how much is an ounce of silver, and do we buy it from the same guy as the gold? Yes, the store that I gave you is gold and silver. If it's a Liberty silver ounce, it's $35. If you can buy the Buffalo ounce, which is an ounce of silver, but it's not considered like a $1 piece, it's 4 over spot, which I think is 25, 26. I buy a lot of that. I have both. But buy them both from him. There's no tax, and the FedEx second day is very cheap. But yeah, stock up on silver. It's about to go to $2,000 an ounce. She doesn't watch football. Okay, Williams, you're one of the few honest ones. I'll tell you, you can tell an honest person when he swears. When I say, how the fuck is this? That means I'm honest. That's the real tell, if you play poker, of an honest person, because he just says what's in his heart. I don't sugarcoat it. How can you stop the crooked refs? You can't, but you try to bet them. That's what the teasers, that's what's beautiful about the teasers, is when they fix the game, like let's say they fix Tampa and they say, okay, Brady, the spread's 10, you can only win by 9. Okay. But since we've teased it down to 2.5, it doesn't affect the fixed. Believe me, gold and silver are fixed. The stock market's fixed. The Fed's fixed. The government's fixed. So everything's fixed. You just got to realize that's life. But yeah, you can't stop the crooked refs. All you can do is bet teasers, because the crooked refs and the mafia aren't really looking at teasers. However, they are finding that we do make a lot of money with teasers. And if you notice, I used to pay no juice. It used to be even money. Then it went to 11 to 10. I'm still 11 to 10, but I do see, you go to MGM, do never bet with them. They're 13 to 10. I'm a retired police officer. Okay. I'm glad you're not a police officer now, because they're really getting shit on by the governments and defunding, and all these guys going to prison because they're not looking at the crooks. So I'm glad you survived it, and you're kind of out of it now. It's really terrible for police right now. I feel bad for them. Darlene, hi, Darlene. You're new. Do you know Trump is a traitor not to get off football? He's a politician, which makes all of them crooked. So it's funny when I look at ads for people running, I go, these guys are the biggest crooks. Who would run for politics? But we can talk about that shortly, Darlene. But they're all, you think Biden's any good? Any of them are any good? They're all just crooks. And we're being run by the Chinese now. That's all I can say. Buy gold and silver to protect yourself and get out of the system. Lock at that NBA. Yeah, well, yeah, they're all like that. That's not true. That is not true. Games are not set. You with that bull crap, and the games reset a long time ago. Games around 100 years. Games are not set. That games are not fixed. I don't know what you're saying. Yep, that's cool. Let me tell you something. No, it's not that. You're not true. You're Republican. Darlene, we're not here to talk politics. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm a Austrian economist, and I believe in freedom. Uh, we're not really here to talk about this. We're here to talk about football. I'm doing my pro review right now. You can certainly go on my site and get my email and email me things. If you want to email politics, I really don't talk about it because that's what you get is fights. And really, I'll talk economics, but I don't want to get into that. Games are fixed, maybe not every game, but we see games fixed all the time. It's just the nature of it. So I'm not going to answer you, Darlene, right now because I got a lot of people who are interested in my picks. So we're under on the 49ers, Carolina, because Carolina won't score because Frisco's defense is dynamite. They almost shut out Seattle, and then look what they did last week. The Rams get 9 with Stafford in that, 24-9. That was a lock under for me on Monday night. My locks last week, I went under Dallas, Washington, and under San Francisco, and I had under in Jacksonville with Oregon over. Those were my locks. I went 7-1 in locks. I had other college locks. So that's what I'm looking for. I didn't mess with the Niners. I took the game under because of their defense. Dallas and the Rams. This should be an exact replay of 49ers and the Rams. The Rams are minus 5.5, 43. Do I take Dallas in 11.5? I like Cooper Rush. I think he's much better than Prescott because Prescott doesn't really read the defense. He doesn't really read blitzes, and he makes some bad throws. Cooper Rush, I think he reads defenses better, and I think he makes a very good throws. So with that said, I do like Dallas in this game, but I think I like it under also. 43, we go under 49. The Rams put up a whole 9 on the Niners. They're not going to score a lot. It's too much Stafford passing. And Dallas really doesn't score. Dallas is an under team. So Dallas is under. The Rams are weak offensively with an over defense. But Dallas isn't going to light it up. And if they do, the Rams aren't going to – this isn't going to be 35-31. The most it is a 24-10 game or something. But under 49, I think it's too high of a number. This number should be the same 40 as the Niner number, or the Monday night number was 42. So, yeah, it's about where it is. I definitely like it under, or Dallas. I prefer the under. Philly and Arizona. Philly minus 5, 5.5, 48.5. Philly's an A team. Strong offensively. They're scoring a lot. They put up 29 on Jacksonville. That's a very strong number. And very strong defense. Arizona's an over team. They score a lot and they give up a lot. They are very much very weak. Interesting stat on Arizona. As a road dog, Arizona's 10-0. Now they're 11-0. As a home dog, you play against them, it's 10-1. So meaning if Arizona's at home and the dog, you take the other team. If they're on the road as the dog, you take them. It's a very strange stat. There's a few other teams like that where they're better on the road than they are at home. But in this case, this is all Philadelphia. I like Philly even here. This is an A team beating an over team. So strong offense, strong defense going against a weak defense. So Kyler Murray, he might get his points. But I think at the end, they're having a hard time with Hurts and Smith and all that Philly's bringing. For them to put up 29 on Jacksonville, I look for a 35 at least here. You could go over with the game, but with Philly's defense, it just makes more sense to take Philly even. I think Philly should be 10-point favorites here. So you really got them down to an even pick here. So I think take Philly is a good play. You're betting against Arizona as a weak home dog, and Philly being the A team, doing what they did to Jacksonville. So I like them. Baltimore, Cincinnati. Baltimore -3, 48.5. Now, some huge trends on Cincinnati. They're 8-0 as a road dog, 20-4 as a road dog over a few years. Play against Baltimore as a home favorite, 6-1. So Baltimore is not a good home favorite. Now, granted, Lamar Jackson is not a good. Is not a. He was hurt last year, so it kind of skews it a little. But look what they did to Buffalo. They had them 20-10 and lose the game. And Cincinnati is starting to play well. Their defense and Joe Burrow. I look for Cincinnati to win the game. Their Baltimore is -3. I like the +9 in the game. Over under 48. Cincinnati's like a B team, so they're showing a strong defense. And Baltimore, I don't know, where did they go against Buffalo? They put up 20 points, and then the second half they didn't do anything. So I don't know. I do not trust Baltimore to win this game. So Baltimore -3. If you play Baltimore, you got to think they're going to win by 10. They're not going to beat Joe Burrow by 10. So I like Joe Burrow as the dog here. And last but not least, Oakland KC. Oakland's an E team. Means they score in the 20s, give up. Actually, they give up in the upper 20s. KC's a B team, so they score probably 28, 29, but give up 28, 29. So they're pretty much of an over defense. Spreads KC -7 and 51. I like KC in the game -1. I think I don't love their defense, but the way they played Indy and got beat, and then they get pissed off and beat Tampa. So you're really in a quorum here of how did they lose to Indy and then do that to Tampa? And Tampa was playing. Brady was winging it, their defense, and they couldn't stop it. So is that what KC brings to the table, the Indy game or the Tampa game? I think since they lost to Indy, it was probably the best thing that could happen in this case, where I think now you've got I think you've got Oakland with an over team. You know, they score. It's probably an over game, but I think I like Kansas City also. So it's KC -1. I think they win at home. I think it's going to be hard for Oakland to stop them, but I think Oakland's getting better offensively with Carr and Adams. And I just think this is a high-scoring game. This is over 45. I think it definitely gets there. I definitely see a 31-21 type of game, which is 52 or more. So I like Kansas City. So let's review. So in the trends, in the Giant game, you got Tyrod Taylor quarterbacking. Green Bay is 6-0 against as a road favorite, and this is a road favorite for them. They're not in Green Bay; it's in London. So remember that it's 9 a.m. New England's got Zappe as your quarterback. Pitt's got Pickett as the quarterback. Houston 13-2 play against road dog against Jacksonville. Seattle 24-3 is a road dog. New Orleans starting Dalton. San Diego is 10-2 as a road favorite. No, as a play against road favorite. So San Diego play against as a road favorite, 10-2. Bridgewater starting for Miami. Arizona play against as a home dog, 10-1. Cincinnati is 20-4 as a road dog and play against Baltimore, 6-1. So if we look at the games, Green Bay or the under, the over in Detroit, New England, Pitt, Buffalo, really don't know where to go with it. Hard to take Pitt, Buffalo -8 in the NFL. Jacksonville -1 or the under. Tampa Bay, if you can get it at 3 or under, maybe the 3.5, but be careful. Seattle +11.5 or the over. Cleveland I like as the home dog or prefer the over in the game. Minnesota, I got to play it under. I don't know if I trust Minnesota. Washington, Tennessee, over because they both have weak defenses. Miami, New England, over, same thing. They both have weak defenses. You got Bridgewater, Zach Wilson. Frisco, Carolina. You can take Frisco or under. Dallas and LA, either Dallas in the 11 or under. Philly, Arizona, Philly, or go over. Cincinnati, Baltimore, I like Cincinnati. And Oakland, KC, I like KC or the over. So those are the picks. Now, if you come to the site and you buy, you get the locks and the picks that I made. There are 4 locks out of that I just gave you, and they've been posted since Tuesday. I have 2 locks in college going, so 6 locks. So if you go to the site, you can buy the locks, you can buy the picks. And I'm doing $100 special. So if you want everything for the week, it's $100. It's normally 1 1/4. But you get the locks, pros, and college, which is probably the way I'm going now, the best value, because I'm crushing college. I am just, it's 17-2 last week, 13-1 the week before, 10-0. I mean, it's just doing very well in college. Pros, I started to do well last week because the first few weeks you have no idea. So now I have a better sense. Now I got 4 locks in the pros. I don't think I had 4 plays in week 1. It's so hard with the no preseason crap, and then the bye before week 1. What are they doing? So anyway, so that's the best thing, is buy the $100 if you're interested in, like, you just want the locks. It's $77 for another 20. You get my strong plays, right? So I have other strong plays, like Denver under yesterday, that you got for the extra 20, and you made $100 for whatever you bet extra. So there's other key games that I like that aren't locks in both pro, and I got like 10 teasers going in college that are really strong. I've locked 2. I might lock 4, but I'm waiting to hear on some injuries if the quarterback's playing. All right, what's going on here? All right, Darlene, you're talking football. I like that. We don't want to talk politics. Tell you something. No, it's not that you're Republican. I don't know what that means. Something that's not paid. I've been watching games just as long as you have, sir, not quite, and you'll be honest, games are not fixed. That would ruin the whole game. Dallas Cowboys are going to win hands down. You're right. Dallas defense is better. They got an excellent defense. The kid out of Penn State is a really good player, like Lawrence Taylor. I'm afraid of the Super Bowl pretenders because it's hard to beat somebody. I see it. I don't see their deep 99. I can't think. I got the phone out. Philadelphia Eagles are overrated. They didn't play nobody so far. Wait until, well, we'll see. I take Arizona football out for the year's teams expected when eventually the Eagles got to lose. Okay, I don't understand. I have a feeling they're still Arizona. You're probably right, but Arizona, Eagles get to lose. Every team loses. It depends who they play and when and where. I'm not saying they're going to go undefeated. Arizona is going to win by 3. All I'm saying is they're a bad home dog. Kobe. Hi, Kobe. I haven't heard from you. I think Philly should at least be a 7-point favorite. I agree with you, Kobe. I think Arizona is a really weak home dog. For some reason, they're a great road dog. I keep stats on that stuff. So they're a great road dog, but they're a terrible home dog. I don't know what it is playing in Arizona that they wouldn't be that good, but they just seem to not show up at home, and on the road, they just play so much better. Awesome. Huge trends on Cincinnati. Oh, huge trends. All right, I'm just going to take the all right Eagles to win. Well, do whatever you like, Darlene. Bengals blew them out twice last year. Ravens are going to – I just like Cincinnati as a dog. I think Joe Burrow is so much better than Lamar Jackson. And Chase is such a good receiver, and their defense is starting to play better. And what the hell did Baltimore do? They could have won last week if they kick a field goal with the minute left at the 2-yard line, and the guy doesn't kick it. So now the coach lost his mind. William, KC -1, yes. Yeah, if we get the Tampa game, yes. If we get the Indy game, no. And that's the problem. Who shows up? That's why I think games are fixed, because there's no way KC, if they play like they did against Tampa, loses to Indy. That's where the fix comes in. KC wins hands down by 10. When my 10. Williams, they're home too. If that matters, but I think it does. It's pretty easy to figure out some of these games. The Green Bay is going to blow out by 14. Rodgers, Brady, Mahomes all win this week. It looks like it. It was for sure Brady, after 2 losses, he's going to win. Mahomes should, because Oakland's got no defense. And Rodgers, he should win too. They're starting to play better. Darlene, and that's going to be a blow. That's a backup quarterback. It's going to be by 14. I won't go over college football. I want to bet 8. The Buffalo won by 8. I was best way to bet is the best Buffalo win this plain win. Okay. Great show. Thank you, Williams. Like I said, I've been doing it a long time, and I know what people want. And people, first of all, want honesty, but they want details. As if I want to know. I'll get into Bitcoin in 1 minute. You get the locks in the picture. Yeah, you work at the casino, dude. No, I don't work at a casino. Professor, have you ever done basketball? I do basketball playoffs. And it's really backs against the wall. So what happens is I gave a 50-unit lock. Now, my locks last week were like 21 units on Golden State to win game 3 because they had lost game 2. So the series was tied at 1, and they had to win game 3 or they would have went down 1-2. That's how I bet basketball. It's mostly the playoffs, and it's mostly betting teams after a loss like we're doing Tampa now. That's a bet against the wall. That's from the book. My mind's all over the place. God, I can't think of the book. Anyway, he gives the back against the wall and the strengths against the weakness. It's the Chinese general book. God, all the coaches read it. I read it. God, I'm just gone on mind blank. Anyway, so when your back's against the wall is when you fight the best. I mean, if you're in a war and your backs are against the wall, sort of like Ukraine now, their back's against the wall. The Russians are invading. They don't care. The Russians are all fleeing because what are they fighting for? So you always want the backs against the wall, and that's what I did in the NBA. So if you see a good team lose 2 or 3 in a row, they're going to play a good game. That's the theory of it. It's the art of war. That's the book. It's funny how when I don't focus on it, I remember it. So it's the art of war, and that's really what it says is when the army's about to get killed and their backs are against the wall, literally, is when they fight the best. That's what I do in this sports betting. Darlene, I'm a cowboy friend. That's why I said you make sense now worrying about. Okay. Cravings are winning because of America are getting into weapons, hands down. There are words pretty amazing. Ukrainians are going to win eventually. Thank you, Sean. You're welcome, Sean. Again, go to the site and you get my email and feel free to email me with questions. But football is once a week, so I can really focus on it and do it. Basketball is every day. It's like baseball. It's every day. I really don't have the time or patience. Football, I can focus. Okay, we're going to take Tampa Bay off of 2 losses and take Brady. And you got a week to study it, and then the games happen on Sunday, and that's it. Baseball is every day. Basketball, you got to worry about the team off of a loss, the team off of 2 losses, the back-to-back games, 3 games in 4 nights. You got to keep track of all that. I just assume play the basketball playoffs. Baseball is basically all pitching, but football is really my thing. It's really my passion, and that's I make a lot of money betting football. If you want, go to my site. You'll see my history. That's my bets, and it's right there. Otherwise, I think we've covered that. So that's each of the games. So watch for the injuries now. I think there was Bridgewater was questionable for Miami. I assume he'll play, but he might be questionable. Tyrod Taylor, I think, is questionable for the Giants. I think he went in and hurt his head, and they got him listed as questionable. But in my mind, in the pros, all the questionable players play because they'll take their shots, and they don't want to lose. Now you're making money. You don't want to lose your spot to another guy and not get it back. So Tyrod Taylor has a chance to play, and upend Jones, he's taking the shot. I don't mind Tyrod Taylor, and I don't mind Bridgewater. They're not bad. Andy Dalton's not bad. I think Zappy's the best for New England. Pickett, I'm not sure on. I hope he's good, but I don't think – I'd rather have Rising from Utah or McCall from Coastal Carolina. I hope they haven't ruined Van Dyke at Miami. But there's a lot of good college quarterbacks coming up that are better than Pickett and better than better than the freaking quarterback at Atlanta, Mariota. My God, what are they drinking there? So anyway, so 4 locks in the pros. Tonight's games, I am playing 2 of them. So in college, we had the over. It was the late over. We had Cincinnati with the over in the SMU UCF game. Cincinnati goes over last Thursday. They cancel the SMU UCF game, but they just moved it because of the hurricane. We had over 58. It ended 61. So we got the over and the win there. Tonight, you got Nebraska 3 over Rutgers, 50. You got Memphis 3 over Houston, 57.5. You got Nevada 3.5 over Colorado State, 45. You got San Jose State 7.52 against Vegas. Those are your games. I have played 2 of these games in a teaser tonight, and then all the Saturday. So what I normally do for anybody new, I'll go through tomorrow morning about 10 o'clock, 10:30. I'm in Detroit. Game start at noon, so I don't want to interrupt too late. So by 10:30, and I'll just go through the lines, and we will see any line changes and any injuries. So, for example, I'm waiting for Jefferson, the Arkansas quarterback, to be – he's either in or out. If he's in, I'm playing the game over. If he's out, I'm going to play Mississippi State. I don't know. He's listed as questionable with a head injury. So if he can play – we're going to go and bet it over. If he can't play and he's out, well, so I got to wait until I know for sure. Now, I look through injuries. If he says he's probable today, then I'll make the bet tonight. So I do post. I might post a late game. So we got all these late. Let's say Alabama is tomorrow night. Oregon's tomorrow night. Oregon State's tomorrow night. So I'm waiting on Chase Nolan, the Oregon State quarterback. If he plays, I might bet them over Stanford, but I might not know. So I might put it out at 3 o'clock. So you bought my package. You think these are the games. And then at 3 o'clock, I see Nolan's playing, and the game's at 10 o'clock at night. That's plenty of time. I will then say, okay, we're taking Oregon State with Alabama, who plays tomorrow night also, or with Oregon, who plays tomorrow. These late West Coast games, I might post them. Normally, I've already posted them. But just in case there's a late injury or a guy's playing and I like him if he plays, then I will play that. So tomorrow I'll go through line movements and any injuries at 10:30, probably to 11:30. And then Sunday morning, I'll do the pros. Same thing, except for obviously the London game. I'll mention that if I hear anything tomorrow with the college. But then I'll go through about 11 o'clock. We got till 1. I'll go through just what I did today. Here's the lines, over-unders, and then any injuries that we find out late. Now, if the guy gets injured in practice 10 minutes before the game, maybe we're hurt, maybe we're not. But, you're trying to anticipate. We know it's injuries. We know it's football. Everybody on the field's injured. Everybody on the field shooting up, numbing their knees and their arms and whatever else. So it's the nature of the beast. It's hitting people colliding 60 times a game. So it's just what it is. But most of them are fine. Most of them enjoy the contact. But that's the nature of the game. What's going on here? Great book, Art of War. Coach, let's go up. What do we do? Okay, Sean, thank you. Great book, Art of War. Absolutely, Coach. Well, a lot of coaches use that book. And the other book a lot of coaches use is the Bill Walsh Coach. He teaches you how to practice and video and what to look for. You win the game before the game. Well, you win the war before the war by not fighting. I don't think you can win the game before the game. Can you psych out the other team? Like, I don't know that Tampa can psych out Atlanta and win the game before it starts, but I think they still have to play. But the idea of the war is what Russia thought. They thought they would win the war without fighting, and the Ukrainians said, no chance. You're not winning this. And Ukraine, this backs against the wall, and that's what you have. Green Bay, my Green Bay is just simply better than sleep over 19 is messing my head. Okay. It's still an opinion. There are no locks or guarantees. Anything, as you know, can happen. That's why the locks aren't 100%. The locks are my most confident play. So last week, my lock was Georgia under 58 against Missouri and Michigan, Iowa under 47.5. I locked it. They could have went over, but they won. It was a winning lock. My locks were 7-1 last week. So there was a loser. Generally, though, these are my best games that, because I've done this for 40 years, I can feel the game. And I know Tampa Bay is going to win this week because Brady's lost 2 in a row. So I know that. And because I know that, because I know what's I think's going to happen, that I make it a bigger bet. So what I'm trying to say in a lock is you want to bet teasers. You don't bet 100 on this teaser and 100 on that teaser. You're not going to win, because then you got to go 4-0. So there's two teams in each teaser. Now, maybe you're playing a 5-team teaser, but let's just say it's a 2-team teaser. You got to go 4-0 to win $200. If you go 3-1, you're going to lose the juice. So I make a lock because it's a stronger confidence that I have in the game winning, because I want you to bet let's say 300 on the lock and 100 on the other. The lock wins, you win 3. The other one, there's our loser. You lose 110, so you win 190. That's the theory of it. There is no way to bet teasers same amount on each on 2 teasers and win. And you can't go 4-0. There's going to be losers. You can do it. I do it a lot of the times, but I know I'm going to have losers. I'm not saying I won't, but I want to bet more on certain games than others, and I want to put certain teams in multiple teasers. So if I play them in 2 teasers and Tampa wins, then I win. I got 2 halves of the 2 teasers won. Now I just got to pick 2 more games, not 3 more. So again, that's another idea of a lock, but a lock is a very high confident play. That's why I lock it, because I feel it. Like, Tampa might lose, but if Brady loses 3 in a row, okay. But I don't think he's going to. Then you add Cordell Patterson hurting his knee and is out. Where's Atlanta scoring? I mean, their best weapon is out, and Brady's pissed off, and Julio Jones is playing, and everybody's playing, and nobody wants to lose 3 because they're there to win the Super Bowl. They're not losing. Okay, they lost to Green Bay and Rodgers, and they lost to Mahomes. Perfectly understandable. That's why I wanted Buffalo to lose against Baltimore last week, so they would be on a 2-game losing streak, and then I could lock Tampa with Buffalo, and just hammer it. So that's what you're looking for. Will Tampa lose 3 in a row? Highly doubtful. I got it under 3. Will I win under 3? Highly probable. I call it a lock. Could they lose? Of course, but more than likely, probably 95%, they're going to win the game because they've lost 2 in a row. That's what a lock is. So that's why I refer to it. Is it a guarantee? No, I don't guarantee, but you know, the only guarantee I have is gold and silver are going to go through the roof. That I guarantee. Anything, as you know, can happen. Doreen, there was a play where cooperation are throwing right down the middle of the pipe instead of take case off and throws in the number. I don't know what you're talking about. The top 4 teams in college football is really easy to pick, like Alabama, hands down, than we got and anybody else. The difference from the Crows in college football, all that seemed like Alabama runs up the score is way better than. Well, you got to it's nothing personal. It's just bet and collect. No, I don't. I know it's not personal, and I don't take it personally. I'm just trying to explain it because people will have cynicism and will go, "Oh, the Joe Blow, who's a salesman, not an analyst." I'm an analyst, so I analyze the games, as you can see, and then I pick based on the analysis. But then I give you the result, and we go over it. So I went over why I played the game yesterday. Why did I play Denver in the under? So I give you the reason, because they're both under teams. So it won. So I bet 2 under teams. I bet them under, and it won. So the picking it under made sense and came through. Was it a lock? No. Could it have went over? Maybe, but that would have been a miracle. But anyway, so that I'm giving you the logic why to play the game, and I'm giving you the logic after it wins why we won or lost. Why did Michigan, Iowa win? Because Iowa's got a great defense and no offense, and that's basically what happened. Michigan has a very good defense and decent offense. I knew they weren't going to light up Iowa. Nobody does. So I knew that would be a low-scoring game, which is what happened. So that's the logic of that lock, was looking at the type of teams. Now, where I excel is knowing the teams are over or under, right? I know Iowa's an under. They score 7 freaking points a game and give up 7 points a game. That's an under team. They're going to play low scoring. It's hard to score on them, but they don't have a good offense. So that's what happens. So I give you that. So I analyze it. So yes, people will play with other handicappers that are just salesmen, and they give a lock out to try to sell. I'm not trying to sell my locks. I'm trying to make you money with it, and I want you to bet more. I'm even teaching you how to bet so you can win by saying you can't bet $200 teasers with 4 teams and expect to win, because you're going to go 3-1 most of the time. The 6 points helps you a little, but it's not a guarantee the 6 points are going to win. You're looking like Tampa under 3, and that's what I got. Now it's over 3. Now it's a little more risky, but that's kind of what I do and where you go from there. So breaking down the games and the picks and the analysis. So one thing I will give you now, this is my thing with Bitcoin people. Bitcoin people, I ask for the same breakdown I do on football or poker. So I'll be at the poker table and I'll go, I buy gold and silver. It's real money. It's going to go up. Oh, I'm into Bitcoin. Okay. So why do you have money in Bitcoin? It's going to go up. Okay. Why is it going to go up? And I can't get an answer. Well, just because. It'll go up because. What do you mean because? Because of what? So they can't answer the Bitcoin go up question. I can answer the gold go up question because it's real money and the dollar's dropping because they print too much, lowering the value, and you can see prices going up, which means they're printing too much dollars. Gold's an asset. Gold will go up. It's being held down artificially, not market. And when that breaks, it's going to go way up. That's a lock. That's a guarantee. It will happen. There's no way around it. It's been held down for a long time, but now, the cat's out of the bag. They can't hold it anymore. Too much with the BRICS nations wanting it to go up, coming out with currency backed by gold. Nobody wants the U.S. dollar anymore. The U.S. is going to have to back their dollar by gold if they want to play in the game. They're going to have to do that. That's why gold will go up. So when somebody says Bitcoin and they can't explain why it's going up, then they don't know. Anybody that doesn't answer the question doesn't know. If you know the question, you ask me a game and I give you the answer. You ask me, Cincinnati, Baltimore, and I take Cincy as the dog because they're the better team and they're getting points. I'm giving you the answer, right? I'm not just saying, because I like Baltimore, or because of the, whatever. That's not an answer. I have to answer the question. If I give you an answer, then I know. If I can't answer the question, then I'm full of shit. And that's why I answer the questions, because I know exactly what's going to happen in all these games, except for a few college. All the pros, I'm telling you, be careful with Buffalo because it's really a high number and it could be backdoors. So, and then to look at Darlene's Alabama quote, in college, they need to score a lot because there's a 14 playoff. Why there's a 14 playoff is so stupid. Should be each conference champion. You win the Big 12, you're in the playoff. You win the Pac-10, you're in the playoff, the Big 10. That should be a no-brainer. And then, you got Alabama and Georgia, so you let them in. And then maybe you got Utah and UCLA, you let them in. And maybe you got Oklahoma State and Baylor, you let them in. So you have 10 teams or so. But because it's 4, you got to run up the score. If Alabama were to win this week against A&M 14-13, they would drop in the polls. If they win 50-13, look how good Alabama is. That's why they do it. They have no choice. They have to run it up, as does other, maybe a Clemson. They're trying to get in. Utah, UCLA, that's a great game this week. They're trying to get in. And they know they can't lose, and they know they got to run up the score. So you'll see Oklahoma State. They got Texas Tech this week. They got to run up the score. They know they got to score a lot. So the voters go, look at Oak State. They scored 60 this week, which is what we're hoping because we bet it over and it's like 61 or something. It's 67. So 61. But that's why they run it all. And the pros, they're just trying to win. And then you get some idiot coaches like Denver and Baltimore where they don't even want to win. Denver, why didn't they kick the field goal yesterday and go 12-12 and we tied? And Baltimore, how do you not kick a field goal? You got 4th down at the 2. You kick your field goal. You go up 23-20 and let the other team score a touchdown to beat you because maybe they're not going to go for the tie. Maybe it'll be 4th down and they don't want to kick the field goal. They want to win or nothing. And the odds on them scoring the touchdown are very slim. So your thought of, we'll leave them at the 2 doesn't hold water. And your thought of, they'll go for it on 4th down doesn't hold water. So they go for it on 4th down. Big deal. I mean, what is that? They still have to score on you. And at the end of the day, it's hard to score. That's why it's 20-20. They've only scored 20 points. You have a decent defense, although not great. And then my Lamar Jackson question is, where was Lamar the whole second half? He didn't score anything. So anyway, those are my points. So any other questions or comments before I go eat lunch? 4 locks in pros, 2 in college, and a whole slew of strong plays in college. So if you are to buy, the week's 125. So you can buy like the pro week is 75 and the baseball for 25, or you can just go on PayPal, send it to the email that's on my site, www.teaserking.com. You'll get my email. G did that. She just sent me 100 on the email, and off we go. G emails me. We do 5-team, 10-team teasers and all that. So you can do that with me, so you can either send me 100 or buy the 75 and 25 package to get me the 100. I'll give you the password. So the way it works is you buy it, you get a password, then you go back into this week's picks. So you go to purchase picks to buy, you go to this week's picks, you put in the password, you get all the picks. They go across, and it'll tell you locks, pro, college. I think there's even a pro and college. Last week I locked the Oregon over with Jacksonville under, which did win. But because I like the college and a pro, I can't call it college. The pro buyers won't see it. And if I call it pro, the college buyers won't see it. And I get lots of both. So by either playing the 100 where you get both, I had my programmer put in a pro and college so everybody can see the divided pick. But I look at the best games. If it's a pro and a college, it's a pro and a college. And that's what I do. So anyway, a lot of good picks. Now I'm really seeing things much better. So I get a much better, Clemson's playing much better now. Their quarterback sucked and they didn't score. Now they seem to be scoring more. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll play Clemson and lay 20 to BC. Where in the beginning of the year, I would never would have taken Clemson laying 20 because their quarterback's terrible. He's still terrible, but they're starting to score. So now I'm seeing that. My Kent, East Carolina's good. Miami, what's happened to Van Dyke? So I'm learning more what's going on. And then I check the box scores to see, was there an injury? What's going on? And that's what you're looking for. So that's what I'm gaining. And in the pros, I know what to look for in the pros, but without the preseason and with the bye, week 1 and week 2 are trash. The players are not in shape from no preseason. And look at I go through the injuries. It's this is week 5. Every team's got 20 guys on the injured list. Now, I don't know if these are starters or reserves or the taxi squad. I don't know what it is, but I mean, I go through Baltimore. There's 25 guys on the injury list. Every team's like that. San Diego. So I only really pay attention to the guys like San Diego. Bosa's out. Oh, okay. I know that. Okay. He's out till November. Okay. So that I know. The other guys who I don't even know, I don't even pay attention to. Unless I'm betting an over under. So if I'm betting an under game and I see a lot of offensive linemen hurt, I'm perfect. That's exactly what I want. But if I'm betting an over and I see a lot of wide receivers hurt, I'll back away from it, even though they might not be starters. But that's what I'm looking for. So now I'm into phase 2. Phase 1's kind of touchy-feely. What did they do last year? We're betting on Rodgers and Mahomes, and now we're in the middle stage. Now we go, oh, Zappi's out there to bet. Oh, look at Philadelphia. They're much better than I thought. Jacksonville is much better than I thought. So now you're learning this year's teams, and that's what we gain. So now I'm at that stage. And then in a few weeks, everything will be very, very quick. Boom. Oh, okay. Because then you'll know the team. But then the injuries start, the key injuries start happening. I don't know. Tagliavua going down doesn't bother me. I like Bridgewater better, and the same with Zappi. I think he's better than Jones and Pickett. Well, Trubisky, I never understood that, but I played Pitt under. Now with Pickett, we got to see, but they're probably still an under team. Anyway, I think that's about it. Welcome, Williams and Darlene. I'm more than happy. That's why I do it live, so we can talk. I don't like to get into politics because it's to me all dirty. It's all the politicians are bought and paid for. Most of them are now bought and paid for by the Chinese, which scares the shit out of me. Everything's fixed. The stock market, gold and silver market are being depressed down. It's about to blow up. This inflation is created by the Fed. I mean, that's just, I did a show on that. So if you go to my page, The Teaser King, you can see the last few videos I did. So there's the college one out there from yesterday. Wednesday, I did one on inflation and gold, and that's about it. One guy didn't like the Bitcoin comment because I don't like Bitcoin. And again, I challenge you to why. Bitcoin is just a pyramid scheme. They're really not an asset, really has no value. It's not money, and it's certainly not gold. So if you're going to buy it and it's because you think it's going to go up, all I'm asking you is why. I'm not against it. I would buy it if I thought it had value, but it doesn't. So I buy gold and silver, which makes perfect sense. I can explain why I do it. You can't explain why you do it. You just think it's going to go up, but you have no idea. I'm telling you to get out of the stock market because prices are up because of inflation. Earnings are going to be down on every company. People are going to need their money, so they're going to sell their stocks so they can eat and pay rent and the heating bills that are going to go up and the gas. So you're going to need money, so you sell your stocks. It's as simple as that. So all the stocks are going to go down, and that's what's going to happen, and it's coming. So gold and silver will protect you. So that's really that. So anything else on football or the economy, let me know. No, I know it's not personal. It's never personal. Here, this is a very open and friendly forum. I'm trying to educate. I teach this as a class. If we're in a classroom, it would be taught the same way. You need to understand is we're here to pick football games. And the question is why am I taking team A versus team B? Why am I going over or under? And there's a few, you're looking at how good is the team's offense and defense. You're looking at injuries. How good are the scores? How good are the players? And that's really the only way to look at determining a team, right? Are they a strong offense or defense? Like Frisco's got a great defense. Offense is okay. The A team is probably Buffalo. Philly looks like an A team. Jacksonville, are they really? I think Tampa and Green Bay are really good in Kansas City, but Kansas City's a little weak defensively, so I don't call them an A team. They're more of an over team. You can't trust their defense to shut down the other team. Like against Oakland, it's gonna be a high scoring game, that's for sure. KC -1, probably a winner, but Tampa put up 31 on them. So, don't be surprised with this game unless they put pressure on Carr and get him out of there. So anyway, that's what the point of this is, a class to teach you. So yes, I'm here, to make money for you, buy the picks. Here's the pick. Here's what I think is best. But I go through each game so you get a feel, because there's a lot of guys out there that are salesmen that'll tell you, oh, take Miami of Ohio. And people bet it because some idiot on the radio is saying it, but they don't give you the why. And then that's why you come to me and go, well, what do you think of Miami of Ohio? And I'll go, well, let's see. Let's look at Ohio Akron. And somebody gives you Akron. I go, why? They're a Z team. Why would you bet Akron? Take Ohio. Ohio's an over team. They score a lot. I can give you the reason to bet Ohio because you're betting against Akron. These guys on that you listen to on ESPN or the radio, they don't give you a why. One guy says, I hate to bet against Kansas because I hate Kansas. What kind of reason is that to bet on the game? I like Kansas this year. They're scoring a ton. I've won 5 weeks in a row with Kansas. So picking Kansas is a very good bet this year. Last year, it was a stupid bet. So things change. So you got to keep them up, but you've got to be able to explain why you make a bet. It's your money you're risking. Why are you risking it? Why are you betting on football? You think you're going to win. Well, why do you think you're going to win this game? That's what this is all about. Why do I think Tampa's going to beat Atlanta? Because they've lost 2 in a row, and Brady's not going to lose 3 in a row. That's the why. That's the bet. Now, is it guaranteed? No. Is it going to win? I can't imagine them losing with Patterson out. It seems like the most logical play because they really have the incentive, like, we're not going to lose. Backs against the wall. They're now like, okay, we got to win, and they're going to really be intense. And that's what you want, is the team that's intense, not a Kansas City team going to Indy and losing. They obviously weren't intense. And the punt returner fumbled twice. Like, what the fuck is that? That's a fixed game. So that's the problem. So now I think we got Kansas City focused. I know we got Tampa focused this week. So that's really what you're looking to find is the team. And after a loss, they seem to play better. So that's what you're looking for. Anyway, I think that's it. Again, I'll quickly run through it for any new people. So Green Bay 7-41 over the Giants. We like the game. We like Green Bay -1 or the game under. New England 3-46 against the Lions. We like the game over. Buffalo 14-46 over Pitt. I don't like the game at all. Jacksonville 7-43.5. I like Jacksonville and the under. Tampa Bay 9.5, 46.5. Again, Tampa Bay. New Orleans 5.5, 46. I like Seattle and the over. San Diego, 2.5, 47. I like the game over. Minnesota, 7 and 43.5. I like the game under. Tennessee, 243. I like the game over. Miami, the Jets, Miami -3, 46. I like the game over. Frisco, Carolina, Frisco -6.5. I like Frisco or the under. The Rams and Dallas, Rams laying 5, 43. I like the game under and Dallas. Philly 5 and 48. I like Philly and the over. Baltimore 3 and 48. I like Cincy. And KC 7 and 51. I like KC and the over. Real quick, the trends and the changes. So Tyrod Taylor, quarterback the Giants. Green Bay is 6-0 as a play against road favorite, which means bet against them as a road favorite, which is what you have. Zappe starting for New England. Pickett starting for Pitt. Houston 13 and 2 play against as a road dog. They are a road dog. Take Jacksonville. Seattle 24 and 3 as a road dog. Enough said. Dalton will be the quarterback. San Diego play against San Diego 10 and 2 as a road favorite. They're a road favorite in Cleveland. Bridgewater for Miami. Arizona play against as a home dog 10 and 1. And Cincinnati 20 and 4 as a road dog. Baltimore play against as a home favorite 6 and 1 is a huge Cincinnati trend. So that's it. That's a lot of the reasons and a lot of the way. Now, I'm not playing every game. I'm not going, I'm not taking necessarily Dallas and the under in the game. So those are just the way I see the games. Again, www.teaserking.com, and you'll get, if you want, the picks are $100 for this week instead of $1.25. You can either go on PayPal and email my email, which you'll find on www.teaserking.com, and then just send the PayPal to my email for $100, or buy the week for $75 and the baseball for $25, and you can send me the $100 that way, and I'll send you the password. And otherwise, I have monthly $300 for the year. It's $750. Locks are $77. I do have 4 pro locks and 2 college locks. Locks have been red hot. 7-1 last week. I think 6-0 the week before. 8-0. They've been really, really hot, the locks. So the games are what I'm seeing, I'm getting. So no big surprises. Anyway, that's it. www.teaserking.com. I'll be on tomorrow morning just looking at college lines and any new injuries. And Sunday we'll do the pro lines and injuries. If you want to see my college show, it's on the Teaser King. And you just go into this site and then you'll see yesterday's. You'll see all my videos. I don't delete them. All right, everybody. Well, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the class, and good luck to everybody this weekend. Again, if you want, email me with questions or comments. Okay, thank you very much.